your back to run the tape.
Brad Pitt gives a stellar performance in this one that some are actually calling a career-defining role. What, me personally, I think I'll still always remember him more for Tyler Durden in Fight Club and Lieutenant Aldo Raine from Inglourious Basterds, personally, but I will say he's lights out in this film and probably deserves some Oscar recognition. The film is visually stunning with a breathtaking score to match the beautiful scenes we're getting on screen. Just, it goes together so perfectly, I can't even describe it. The 2001 A Space Odyssey vibes are prevalent throughout the whole film, but it is not the same movie at all, even though they are both slow burn sci-fi films that I think a lot of people aren't going to like this one because they think it's going to be an action movie. You have an action star in Brad Pitt, and a lot of the trailers did show off like the one or two action scenes throughout the film. And it makes sense to get people in the seats, but this is a slow burn film. And personally, I love that part about it. And some of the action actually probably took me a little out of it compared to the slower parts. Personally. I also felt that it had a really realistic feel throughout, like, of the future of space travel. Because, yeah, it shows us going deep into space, far out past we've ever gone. We're colonizing on Mars and the moon and so on. But the ships and such, the areas that we did colonize don't look all shiny and fancy and technology driven. They look realistic towards what we have today when it comes to space travel. Instead of like a shiny new ship that flies at light speed, it's very real feeling, in my opinion. Though there are things throughout where you just have to stretch the imagination a little bit, and that's to be expected with any good sci-fi movie. As for cons, me personally, this isn't a con for me, but my girlfriend definitely pointed this one out to me, and I could definitely see it for some people who are going to view this movie. The pacing was pretty slow. It's a 2-hour movie that kind of felt like 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes, around there. Personally, it didn't bother me at all, like I said earlier, but Sam did feel it felt a little too long. And I could definitely see a casual moviegoer feeling like this movie sucked because of the length of it. Even that it's only a 2-hour film, it does feel a little dragged out at times. Personally, like I said, I didn't mind it. Now, if I were to rate this movie as of now, it would be a 4.15 out of 5. I know that's a little specific, but I like to be specific because a 4.15 is not the same as a 4, and it's not the same as a 4.5. It wasn't quite perfect. It wasn't quite thrilling throughout the whole thing, but there was so much in this film that catered to my personal likes and dislikes in films that I'm giving it a 4.15 out of 5. And I feel like it's a definitely must-watch movie if you're into sci-fi, slow burns, maybe even if you're just a Brad Pitt fan and like very good, quiet performances. This isn't an over-the-top performance. It's nothing like his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though that one was equally as great. And some people will probably say even better because he's louder and he's more of a in-your-face part of that movie. To get into some spoiler aspects about the moral or the theme in this movie, I'm going to let you guys click off now. I hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you in a review soon. I'm reviewing The Joker very shortly. I'm a little delayed on these because of work, and I just went to Comic-Con. So, click off if you haven't seen the movie, or stay on if you don't really care to watch the movie and you want to hear my thoughts of some spoiler aspects. 3, 2, 1. Alright. So, in my opinion, this movie shows how a character who carries a lot of guilt, a lot of regret, a lot of anxiety, and just kind of has a heavy burden on him throughout the whole movie. And the theme of this movie, in my opinion, is letting go of the past, letting go of things that are dragging you down, and kind of trying to fix your mistakes going forward instead of just sitting with them and making them who you are as a person. And I feel Brad Pitt does go through the motions of guilt and regret and compassion and fixing who he is as a person throughout. And at the end, we get a good monologue of how he's feeling. And throughout the film, we get little updates of how he feels, but he's always kind of faking it. That way, he can just do his job. Because if he doesn't fake it and he tells the truth, he won't be able to do his job up to his full ability. At least that's what he's told, so he fakes it. At the end, he says the same thing he's been saying, maybe a little different, but you can tell it's real and he feels that way and he has a load off his character. I felt that was a great way to end off the film and show this character right through his whole character arc. What I feel people are going to miss that and not really think about it too hard because it's this big sci-fi movie, right? No, this is a character study. At the root of this movie, it's a character study. And in that aspect of the film, it hit it out of the park for me. Another line that came out and stuck with me was that he's just on the moon. The moon basically looks like Penn Station. If you've ever been to New York and been to Penn Station, you know it's crowded, there's food everywhere, there's people walking in and out. And that's what the moon was portrayed as in this near future, or somewhat near future, that we colonized the moon. And Brad Pitt says to himself in his head that we are world destroyers, or world killers. I can't precisely remember what he says, but it stuck with me because it's kind of true on our Earth right now. All the problems with nature and stuff could be looked back and seen what we did to make it this way and how we've destroyed the integrity of Earth. And how if we were to go to another planet and colonize, we would just do that to that planet and the next one and the next one. And I felt that was a very deep moment in the movie that a lot of people will just pass over and not really think about. But that line in itself grabbed me and made me think a lot. That's all I really want to get into. I'm not going to break down the whole movie. There was a few action scenes that I feel people are being way too negative on. I think those had to be in there for the common moviegoer. So I'm not going to get deep into those at all, but I loved this movie. It's one of my favorite of the year so far. Let me know down below what you thought of this movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Brad Pitt's best performance yet, or not quite there yet? I think on rewatch, this is a movie you're going to pick up more and more as you watch it. So, like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.